Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Lada, Leno, Leyba, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Stone, Vidak, Wykowski, Wolk.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, if you could be so kind of please call the absent members. Sergeants, if you could be so kind of please call the absent members so we can establish a quorum. Colleagues, it is 11:34 a.m. Sergeants, again, if you could be so kind of please call the absent members so we can establish a quorum. Thank you. Members, if you could be so kind enough, please, to sit at your desks. We're going to start the session, and we have a very special introduction before we get to the prayer. So if I could get everyone's attention. Thank you very much. Again, sergeants, to the handful of absent members, again, if you could be so kind enough to get them down so we can begin. We have established a quorum. So with that, colleagues, during the time of the gold rush back in 1857, 5 sisters from a convent in Ireland arrived by steamboat to the San Francisco Bay. What brought them to the Golden State was not the treasure most were here for. The Sisters of Mercy were on a global mission to provide care to the sick, the poor, the elderly, as well as the uneducated. They eventually made their way to Sacramento, where many gold miners' children were neglected and homeless, and the town had just suffered through the cholera epidemic. When they arrived in Sacramento, the Sisters of Mercy bought some land in the middle of the city, where they planned to build a school. Several years later, in 1860, a nascent state government bought the land from them, laying the foundation for the very same building that we stand here today. A memorial right outside of the north entrance of the state capitol honors the contribution of the Sisters of Mercy, the contributions that have made to Sacramento as well as to the state. And colleagues, I would highly encourage that after a very long day of work here, as you leave the north entrance of the capitol, you will notice as you walk outside towards your right, a small path that's brightened by a lantern held by a nun, guiding her mother and child through the dark. Today, a member of the Sisters of Mercy will bring that shining light held by generations of sisters inside these chambers to serve as our new Senate chaplain. Sister Michelle Gorman's lifelong service to education and the needs of the sick and poor, as well as her leadership in the religious community, have deeply inspired me. So it is a personal honor to introduce Sister Michelle Gorman as our new Senate chaplain. This appointment makes her the first Roman Catholic nun to serve in this position since the founding of our state of California. Sister Gorman followed the route of her predecessors when she immigrated to Northern California from Ireland back in 1971 to care for the people of our state. She continued her education and joined the Sisters of Mercy, who have offered spiritual guidance and devoted service to members of the Sacramento community and the state of California for over 150 years. They serve God's people in many ways, through education, healthcare, social services, and ministries that further social, political, economic, and spiritual well-being. At the beginning of this new year, it is my deep hope Sister Gorman will guide the Senate in pursuing the same. Please join me, colleagues, as we welcome our new Senate chaplain to the Senate floor, Sister Michelle Gorman.
Thank you very much, Senator De Leon, for those kind words. And good morning, senators, staff, and guests, and Happy New Year to all of you. I am honored to serve as Senate chaplain, and I see my role as helping you connect what you do on a daily basis to the ongoing progression of our state, to a reality where liberty and justice are truly experienced by all. Before I begin the first prayer of 2015, I'd like to make a few remarks about the God I will be invoking on your behalf. For me, this God is a God of unconditional love and compassion, not only for your constituents, but also for each one of you. This God is closer to each one of us than we are to ourselves. And she desires to be invited into the daily exigencies of our lives. And I also believe that this God has a sense of humor. as Senator De Leon indicated. Otherwise, why would a Sister of Mercy be standing here 157 years after Mary Baptist Russell purchased the land here? And no, we don't want it back. But I like to think that Mary Baptist may have completed some unfinished business. And here I now stand with gratitude and awe at God's mysterious ways. So for our prayer today, I invite us to take a few moments to call to mind our ancestors, all those persons who paved the way for this moment of your beginning legislative session of 2015. Let us remember our biological ancestors. What struggles did they encounter as they left their beloved homeland? What contributions did they make for our freedom and well-being? Let us remember our spiritual ancestors. What experiences of God did they impart? What hopes and dreams did they inspire in their children? And let us remember our legislative ancestors. What vision did they carry for the Golden State? What personal sacrifices did they make as they laid the foundations of the California that we now administer and serve? So, gracious and loving God, God of the past, of the present, and of the future, we trust in your presence with us today. We thank you for our ancestors, on whose shoulders we stand, and from whose perspective we benefit. We appreciate that this is our time to collaborate with many factors in the advancement of California and the continued creation of a better and safer planet for all. May we be patient with the sometimes slow progression of our plans, as we acknowledge that our ancestors also encountered many obstacles. May we have the courage to delve into those issues that some tell us are impossible to solve. And may we act in visionary ways now, so that our descendants in 7 generations will thank us for our generosity, for our perseverance, and for our care for the future. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Please remain standing. Senator Stone will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Senator Pro Tem De Leon, fellow colleagues. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the greatest flag on this globe. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Senator Stone. Thank you very much, Sister Michelle Gorman. Now, colleagues, it is a pleasure and an honor to swear in one of our newest members of the California State Senate, who will be joining us in the red carpet. That is Senator, soon to be, I should say, Senator-elect Isidore Hall. Senator-elect Isidore Hall, please. Senator-elect Hall, if you could be so kind enough to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Isidore Hall,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
which I am about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
Senator Isidore Hall, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Pro Tem De Leon, and to all of my colleagues in the Senate, to all of my supporters, to my family, to my community support, all of my mayors and council members, to my staff, to my nieces and nephews in the rear. All that I do in my community, I do to be able to inspire great minds like this. And I think that on this floor, the decisions that we make are not for us, but the decisions that we make on this floor are so that folks like this can be great, leading this state as being one of the number one states in the nation, perhaps the best place to live in the world. And so I'm honored today to serve in the Senate with my distinguished colleagues, to better California for jobs, to better California for our environment, to better California for our education, to better California for immigration reform, and to make sure that everyone has a voice at the table, regardless of who you are, what you represent, who you serve, and who you love. And so I'm honored today to be able to say that I am a Californian, and that I was raised in a city where hope did not live and hope did not reside. In Compton, by a parent who raised 6 kids by herself, working 3 part-time jobs. Give my mom a round of applause. And each one of them have done their fair share to make not only my mom proud, but to make this community proud. And so as I stand here today with limited words, I want to thank each and every one of you for your support that you wreaked on me throughout this process. May God bless you. Mr. President, I look forward to working with you. I look forward to carrying water for you. And I look forward to carrying water for the people of the great state of California. Thank you all for this opportunity. God bless you, and God bless California. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Senator Hall, again, congratulations on your hard-fought victory. Congratulations on becoming a member of this very robust and proud institution on the red carpet, the California State Senate. To Ms. Ban, Senator Isidore Hall's mother, I want to thank you very much as well, too. For Isidore Hall was born on the same date I was born, on the same birthday. So we same mother, you know, that's brothers with a different mother, you know, in this case. So Ms. Ban, a very elegant woman. Again, thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. With that, we're going to continue our agenda. Colleagues, privileges of the floor. I am seeing none at this moment. However, I do want to make a personal point of privilege by recognizing we had 3 mayors. I know we have 2 that I see visually before us today. That is Mayor Asia Brown from the City of Compton. Mayor Asia Brown from the City of Compton. We also have from the City of Hawthorne, down in Hawthorne, Southern California, that is the Mayor Chris Brown. Mayor Chris Brown. And I did see Mayor Eric Garcetti from the City of Los Angeles. I don't know if he's back in the chamber or if he has left. If not, nonetheless, we want to recognize Mayor Eric Garcetti as well, too. So messages from the governor will be deemed read. Messages from the assembly also will be deemed read. Reports of the committee will be deemed read. Motions, resolutions, and notices. At this moment, I am seeing none. We have no introductions and first reading of bills. Mr. Secretary, please read. There are none. Bills will be deemed not read because there is none. We do have also with us today Senator Ellen Corbett, the former majority leader of the state of California. Senator Corbett. Welcome, Senator Corbett. We're going to return to motions and resolutions. I'm seeing none. If there's no other business, colleagues, the Senate will be Mr. Hueso.
An adjournment, member?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. President. As Vice Chair of the California Latino Caucus and a proud San Diegan, I'm very honored today to be here to ask you to adjourn in memory of former Assemblymember Pete Chacon. He was an educator, an activist, a political trailblazer who passed away in December 14th to be exact, at the age of 89. Mr. Chacon served in the legislature from 1970 until his retirement in 1992, and throughout his tenure represented the urban core of San Diego. Following his honorable service in the U.S. Air Force, where during World War II, he utilized the GI Bill to be the first of his family to attend college. Ultimately, he earned a BA degree in education with a teaching credential in 1953 and a master's degree in school administration in 1960. Both degrees came from San Diego State University. His path to public service came as a result of his work as a teacher, where he was shocked to see Spanish-speaking children not be taught English, but simply be relegated to mentally retarded classes, as they were called back then. Seeking such injustices and frustrated by the lack of changes within the education system led Mr. Chacon to run for state assembly in 1969. He risked everything, including his savings and retirement, on his campaign, which he won over a popular incumbent in a district that was only 8% Latino at the time. He would go on to have a distinguished career in the legislature and never lost an election in 22 years. Generations of Latino legislators like myself are indebted to trailblazers like Mr. Chacon. His style made it so that everybody in his district felt like they had a personal relationship with their assembly member, and my father boasted that he was a good friend of his. Not only did he have the courage to speak not only did he have the courage to seek public office at a time of great injustices to Latinos, but he utilized his time in office to achieve great things. The governor speaks our current governor was governor at the time when Pete Chacon led a blocking of the passage of the budget in favor of instituting bilingual education. Many people forget that, but for the community at the time, it was an enormous achievement for the Latino community to bring those changes at a time that were deeply needed. In fact, I was a beneficiary of those changes that he made, because I was a Spanish speaker before I was an English speaker, and I was introduced into a bilingual class before I was in English. So I'm a beneficiary of the work that he championed here in this building. So it is with a lot of respect that I speak in honor of his service, and I speak in gratitude of his service. And I'd like to mention his family, who he is survived by his 4 sons, Chris, Paul, Ralph, and Jeff, and their wives. He has 10 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. His loving wife, Jean Chacon, passed in March of last year. We will miss him very much, but hopefully people do not miss his contribution to the state and remain grateful to the sacrifices he made for the people of California. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senator Hueso. If you could be so kind enough to please forward to the front desk your adjournment in memory of Assemblymember Chacon. Our most heartfelt condolences go to the Chacon family down in San Diego. Senator Jim Nielsen.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rise as well to acknowledge Peter Chacon. I had the privilege of serving with this man. And the other day when I read in the paper his passing at 82, the thought crossed my mind how young. A man who deserved to serve his humankind a lot longer than 82 years. Here in the legislature, Peter was a gentleman, one who you could trust and respect, a man who kept his word, a man who respected the institution and its rules. Certainly a mentor to generations, as Senator Hueso just mentioned, generations of Latinos who've been inspired to do more, to achieve more, many to come to this honorable body, others to serve in many other capacities in their community. A trailblazer. His hallmark was bilingual education. It was an area where he and I had a lot of agreement. Bilingual education was about rapid transition into dominant English with the maintenance of your former dominant language. Did not diminish that, nor the cultural traits and things that were revered. It was called bilingual, bicultural education, in fact, at the time. But Peter was the pioneer. In all manner and ways, he was a credit to the institution. All of us could hope and aspire to bring credit to this institution, as did Peter Chacon. My heart went out to he and his family in prayer. Let us continue to pray for them. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for your very eloquent words, Senator Nielsen. Senator Bill Monning.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I just would like to ask you to join me in welcoming Dolores Huerta in the gallery today, President of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, co-founder of the United Farm Workers Union, a champion for women's rights, civil rights, working families' rights. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dolores Huerta.
Thank you very much, Senator Bill Monning, for that wonderful introduction of one of the true treasures that we have here in the United States, and that is Dolores Huerta. Bienvenida, felicidades, compañera. With that, one announcement. Immediately upon adjournment of our Senate floor session today, right out these 2 doors, we have a reception for Senator Isidore Hall. That is in room 211. You got your cast of fans back there. They brought up from Compton, I see, here. But reception for Senator Hall, immediately following the adjournment of today's Senate floor session in room 211. If there's no other business, the Senate will recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene, colleagues, Thursday at 9 a.m. The session is adjourned.